So the first thing that we're going to show here, again, you can see this is the environment. This is the sponsor's environment. So you can kind of tab through a couple of things here. The first thing we're going to show is this test library. So you can have these tests already preloaded in here. So this can be all of your sort of analytical methods. You can create a new test. These are some of the fields that would be associated with starting a new test. So we're showing here, this is that workflow. And these are tests that are not only associated with stability protocol, but these are reusable. So you could use these for batch analysis. You could use these for essentially anything you need. You could load that in this test library. There's some filtering capabilities here, so you can filter by test type. Just to kind of, you could have a lot of tests here, as well as some searchability. So really showing here the modularity and the reusability of these elements. The next thing we're going to show here is the medicinal product. And all of this, we're kind of building some reusable elements that are going to get pulled into our stability protocol. But again, this is kind of a core element that would be reusable across, I think, any sort of submission or bundle that we would create. So that's been preloaded in here. Our sample product is Stelbat, and this is a small molecule. And then finally as well, this is another common core concept for us. These are the batches of Stelbat. Again, we've preloaded a couple of batches in here, but if you wanted to create a new batch, this is kind of what that would look like. These are all of the fields that we've loaded in here. And of course, we could create additional fields as well, but this is sort of the bare minimum that we need for our stability protocol. So we've created these batches and we can associate them with a protocol at a later step. But again, showing we can preload some of this information in. And now we're going to go ahead and start a stability protocol. So it's going to ask us for some information, the title of that stability protocol, a status, a date. There's a free text field here. We can associate it with a medicinal product. If we have any notes about the protocol, we can go ahead and put that in here. We've got the stability conditions we can add. So this is, times, temperatures, descriptions about those stability conditions. Here we're showing what it looks like if we wanted to add a new stability condition. So again, we have this sort of semi-structured content here where, there's an expectation for a specific stability condition, but we have a free entry field. And this is showing kind of, the code that's generated on the back end. So this is very user-friendly, but it is generating that FHIR message. It's just the user doesn't have to interact with that, which is what we would want from, the business perspective. So now we're showing what a completed stability protocol would look like. You can see all of the conditions here and all of the time points associated with those conditions. And you can see the tests as well that have been pulled into the protocol. So these are all the tests that live in our test library. You can pull them in. This is a multi-select option, so you can select all of your tests or some of your tests. It's configurable. And then assign time points to those tests as well. So now we're ready to share. So we've set up our protocol. We're going to share it with our CRO that's going to be running our stability testing. Got some options here. You can either share all tests or share only specific tests. The tests are enumerated here, but we can change that so that we can see the specific test name. Again, this is an illustrative UI. So we're going to go ahead and share some tests. And we've successfully shared the protocol and 8 tests with our CRO. And now we're going to change. So now we're in the CRO's environment. So we can see on the CRO's dashboard, they've received one protocol. And this is highlighted there was just the workflow that the CRO takes it through. This is the protocol that they just received from the sponsor. So again, you can visualize here the protocol information. You can see who shared it, when it was shared, some description. You can see all of these test methods and the time points, as well as the stability condition. And from here, so the main role of the CRO is to actually run the testing and to provide the test results. So this is an entry field. The CRO can, enter what protocol, what batch, when the test was run, who performed the test, and some general notes on the test, and then share those results with the sponsor. And you can kind of enter in the results by time point here, and all of the tests are listed. So it gives you this, again, sort of structured field to enter information into at each time point. I'm going to enter in some sample values here just to show that data transfer. So we've done some dissolution testing. And now we're going to submit those results back to the sponsor. Not a great outcome here. They're out of spec, but the results are what they are. So we're back in the sponsor's workflow here. And we can see we've just received these results from the CRO. So pretty instant. So those results that we entered for this dissolution testing, we've just received them. The other thing wanted to point out here is that, this is the 0 and 3 months. We're still waiting for the rest of the results, but it can be submitted kind of in real time as results are coming in. You don't need to wait for the whole thing to kind of complete. And what we're showing right now is the regulator view. So as the sponsor, if I'm ready to make a regulatory submission, I want to submit this result to a regulator. We're going to submit it to a new environment. This is a final action, so we're doing that now. So we're in the sponsor. We're submitting everything we received from the CRO to the regulator. And now the regulator is showing that they have received it. There's one protocol, and this matches up with the protocol from before. So they have those dissolution results from the sponsor that we got from the CRO.